And welcome back to another episode of the Get Back Coach presented by Apollo Media. Today, very special guest, reoccurring guest. Love having him on. We got Matt Sprouse from the group of five guys. Matt, how are you doing?
Gentlemen, I couldn't be better. We are a week and a half away from lining it up. Can't wait.
Yeah, and again, we're going to talk about the group of six, because the group of six deserves love. And Jay and I, we try and do our best to highlight the group of six. But if we're going to do a preview, who better than a member of the group of five guys?
Well, that's right. And I appreciate y'all. Is this year 4, maybe year 5 already?
I think we're in year 4 together. You've been coming on.
Yeah.
Because I think I was still in West Virginia when you first came on. The first part.
Time flies.
Yeah.
And the seasons start running together. So like I'll sit there and I'll tell you about how good a team was last year, but really they were good 4 years ago. And I can't call it. So looking forward to it.
Jay, I think I did that 2 weeks ago. I forget who we were previewing. I was like, hey, they were pretty good. And Jay's like, dude, they went 4-8.
That's okay. I mean, I forgot that Fafita was going to be back for another year.
Yeah.
So.
For Arizona.
That's the hardest part. That right there is it, because you've got these 6, 7, 8 year guys. I think this is the last year of that, though. Do you like that? I think this is the last year of the COVID kids. So we should get some sense of normalcy after this year.
God, who was that Miami player that was there for like 8 years?
Tight end.
Tight end. I
can't remember his name.
I just think of Billy Madison every time.
Yeah.
Stay here as long as you can.
Yeah.
Hey,
don't ever leave.
A lot of people go to college for 7 years.
Yeah.
Like, nothing wrong with that.
All the people that are like, you need to get a LinkedIn, brother. Like, no, enjoy college while
enjoy
you can.
it.
It's all downhill after
Well,
this.
and then you got Fernando Mendoza, who's got a LinkedIn, and he's the number 1 pick in the draft, Heisman winner. That's unbelievable, that kid.
Exactly.
Fair enough.
Hey, before we get into it, group of five guys, you guys have a terrific platform, shouting out everything that's going on in some of these other conferences. But you guys scored a trip to Mr. College football himself, Josh Pate. How did that happen?
The commissioner and a lot of people were upset with us because they feel like Josh Pate is not G5 or G6 Josh. And so I guess, they were upset. But no, man, it's been interesting. We've gone back and forth with him on socials, just mostly friendly. He kind of became the villain. It was maybe 2 or 3 years ago when he said that they're not playing the same sport. And then, so of course, what happens is everybody that follows us, we get the tags like, handle this. And so we said some things. It's always been friendly back and forth. He's done, obviously he is like, you can't pull out your phone or turn on the TV without seeing him now. So he's blown up. So we've gone back and forth, and then we were looking for some maybe advice or tips on how to become the commissioner of college football and get on every platform. And so he was kind enough, man, invite us out to the studio in Nashville. So we got to spend the afternoon a little bit, watch how those guys prep for a show and the production that is, his college football show. And it was a cool experience, nonetheless. So hey, I know we upset some people, but if you want the message of the group of six to be spread, you have to learn how to do it. And you have to, if you're a religious person, I mean, you don't just hang around other religious people if you're trying to spread the gospel. You know what I'm saying? So that's all we're trying to do.
Yeah. Spread the good word.
That's all you can do.
The word of the group of six.
That's right.
Listen, man, I saw it. I was like, oh my God, those are my guys, but good for you guys. Like I said, you guys do a great job.
Appreciate that, man.
Yeah. You and Jeff. So are you adopting the Pac-12?
There's no question we're adopting the Pac-12, and they've got no choice but to be adopted by us. And like we did our Pac-12 preview this morning, actually, and all of the teams that moved from the Mountain West to the Pac-12, and then Washington State and Oregon State who have been there, they kind of have this feeling of their Power Five, right? But the reality of it is, whether you like the notion of G6 or not, like where we're at is, we're trying to talk about the teams and the programs that are not going to get talked about on ESPN, that are not going to be in the AP poll, by the way, that Josh Pate's not going to talk about, right? So, and like, sorry, but that's just what it is. And like, those guys are not going to be talking about the Pac-12 and until December, when one of them gets a playoff spot over somebody that they deem worthy, right? And so, you know, you got to talk about them. They deserve it. And so the last thing you want to do is get caught in the middle, which is where probably 75% of Power 4 schools actually are, right? I mean, you think they're in the ACC or the SEC, but you don't hear about them on national media either. But so I'd rather be talked about if I was in the Pac-12 by somebody.
Yeah. And it's going to be a fun conference. Like I look at that one and you know, I don't, we're about to get into the deeper discussion, but it's a conference I'm excited to see. Like I love that they're all state schools too. That's a fun little,
all 8 of them. Yeah.
Fun little bit there going on. But I think there's going to be some fun games. And, you know, I think we've seen some history, like especially with Boise State playing Oregon State, Washington State. Like there's some history there. Obviously, you know, you have some of the other programs coming in, San Diego State, Fresno State. Like it's going to be a fun conference. Texas State feels like the weird one of the bunch, but excited to see them in that conference as well. Jake, do we want to go ahead and talk, tap into the deeper talk for the Pac-12?
Yeah. So how this is going to work, we're going to talk a lot about contenders and dark horses. Okay. Just kind of give us a preview of who we should be watching going into the year. So Matt, who do you think the contenders are in the pack?
Well, Boise State's the obvious one, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they are going to be the consensus across the board. They've got all the pieces there. They really have a lot of the same guys that were there from the playoff team 2 years ago that were just young guys that are now playing. The question for me there is the quarterback, Maddox Madsen. Like you've just been waiting for him to progress into like bona fide QB1, and it hadn't gotten there yet. And now they've got 2 running backs. They don't have Genty, of course, but Sire Gaines and Dylan Riley can both go. They've all, Madsen and Riley and Gaines have all battled injury, right? So if they can stay healthy, like they're the overwhelming favorite. But what's been the case even in the playoff year was they've just like, you're just waiting for them to look dominant. And they have these games every once in a while where it just, they might win them, but they just look sloppy or they look like they're not firing on all cylinders. And so that's the fear, right? And they play Oregon right off the rip. So they got a chance. And then in this conference, you talked about it, like only 8 teams, but like, I think 6 of them are potentially legitimate contenders. And so, you know, you're not, and then you got this weird flex game at the end. We'll see what they're going to do with that. And so who they're going to play again. But Boise, I think, is the overwhelming favorite. I think you got to look at Fresno State is going to be really good. I think they'll be good. They're interesting because they're not your typical Fresno team where every other year you look at Fresno and you're like, well, okay, Fresno State, really good quarterback, high-powered offense. They're really not that. The quarterback's maybe the question mark this year, but he's a big kid, a little bit of a dual threat kid. They got your smaller, like Darren Sproles type running back that can go. So I think they're going to be good on offense. They'll be really good on defense. Texas State, you mentioned. Texas State on paper, on offense, is loaded. Loaded. Their wide receiver room might be the best receiver room in the G6. Bo Sparks is their best guy. He's big time. And Brad Jackson, the quarterback, is like, can play. Like he is, if you have problems on offense, Brad Jackson is a quarterback that can fix those problems with his ability to run and with his ability to distribute the ball. They've got 3 receivers at least that are like studs. That's just defense. It's a question mark. You know, can they stop anybody? And like everybody, it's just, you got a whole bunch of transfers. So you kind of got to wait and see, but they are, again, on paper, loaded on offense, but they were loaded on offense last year. They were loaded on offense the year before. And they've shown flashes of it, but it hadn't all been put together to where they're winning more than 7. I think they went 7-6 last year. He might have went 7-6 the year before. But they got an interesting schedule. I don't think they leave the state of Texas until October. They got to go to Austin week 1. They get their rivalry game versus UTSA. They get them at home. That'll be a big one. They get, I think, Incarnate Word, and then I think they get North Texas, who we'll see. But they'll be good. I also like San Diego. I'm giving you, I know you asked me for contenders, and I'm going to go down the whole conference. I like San Diego State quite a bit too.
Same.
And San Diego State is not traditional either, because normally before Sean Lewis got there, what you could count on for San Diego State is like, this is going to be a big time defense, and we hope we can score 17 points a game and we'll win a lot of them. Like, you look at them last year, I think I read this stat this morning. I'm going to try to remember it. I think they had 8 games last year, 10 or less points given up. They had 5 games, 3 or less, pitched 3 shutouts last year. So, I mean, the defense cannot be that good. They only got 2 starters coming back from that defense. But Sean Lewis is an offensive guy. So now it's like shifting a little bit. So now the defense, they might take a step back, but you'd like to see the offense take a big step forward. Lucky Sutton is probably the best running back in the conference, in my opinion, outside of maybe the 2 kids at Boise. But their quarterback is a question mark. Denegal, he played all right last year. He got hurt last year. So is he going to be healthy? Can he stay healthy? Will he progress a little bit? So I think they'll be good, but I think they'll have to score a lot more points this year to win as many games as they did last year. I will stop with those 4 as true contenders. And then I take it you're going to ask me for dark horses. I got them too.
Well, no, I had, again, Boise State is just like the clear favorite. I think almost every single betting website has them as a heavy favorite to win the conference. So like, I kind of threw San Diego State in there as like a quote unquote dark horse, even though I really like San Diego State. They got a good chunk coming back. They went 9-4 last year. That's a huge year for them, and new stadium. I really think they're building something, and love Sean Lewis.
Yeah.
Jay, I think you and I are pretty much on the same page with that.
Yeah,
right?
we're in lockstep there. And to Matt's point, like, the identity of San Diego State for me has always been like a solid defensive program that just wants to grind out the run. I mean, you look at some of the running backs they've had in the past. Rashad Penny comes to mind, going way back to Marshall Faulk, right? Like, this is a program that I think has had an identity. It's changed a little bit with Sean Lewis at the helm. I loved Sean Lewis's work when he was at Kent State, right? Like, I thought whenever he got hired to be the offensive coordinator at Colorado, that was a home run hire. Obviously a weird situation there. We don't have to get into, but when Sean Lewis got to San Diego State, I really liked the hire. Great year last year. I mean, you beat Boise State in that game. You have some losses to Hawaii, who was a much improved team, and New Mexico, who obviously improved dramatically. But I think this is a very solid San Diego State squad. They closed out the year with that bowl loss to North Texas, and I think that's what more of their games are going to look like this year, right? Like a high scoring. San Diego State has to replace a lot of defensive production. But again, like, question mark at quarterback, but I think Sean Lewis is a guy that knows how to scheme up what he has. So I think he'll come up with a game plan around that situation. It's a team that I'm excited to watch this year. Jake, you mentioned Snapdragon Stadium, one of the newer stadiums in the FBS ranks. Should be a fun one. I mean, I'm excited to see what the Aztecs do this year.
Well, and how can you not get kids to want to go to San Diego, right?
I know, right?
I mean, if you can, all these California kids, I know there's a lot of California schools, but you're going to play in, like, now you've got this conference, and although if you're San Diego State, you're playing a lot of the same teams, but you can sell to these kids like, hey, dude, we're going to get Washington State every year, Boise every year, Fresno every year. It's relatively regional, right outside of Texas State. So your family can come to most of the games with relatively easy travel. So yeah.
You're not having to cross the Mississippi. At least.
No, you're not.
And you're playing at some pretty cool venues too. Like, you're playing at some really cool venues, and some cool sights of college football. Yeah, you might. It's not like giant 80,000 seat stadiums, but like they're very beautiful 50,000, 45, 50,000 stadiums. And listen,
Mhm.
I love when these G5 teams are good because all that community comes out of the woodwork. And
Mhm.
I think San Diego State can definitely be a place like that. You know,
Yeah, well, and you mentioned like playing in the cool venues. Yeah, there's cool stadiums, and also like, yeah, maybe there's going to be 20,000 people at a 35,000 seat stadium, but that'll be a cooler experience than having 30,000 or 20,000 at the Rose Bowl to
bingo.
watch
Yeah.
UCLA or however many Cal gets at their
Hmm.
games. So I like, I think these new stadiums to me are just so ideal. Like
Hmm.
they're almost built to scale. Like when you look at
Hmm.
Canvas Stadium where Colorado State plays, like if you just saw an overhead, you'd be like, "Holy God, the Broncos play there!" Like it
Hmm.
looks huge, but it's like 32,000
Yep.
seats, and it's beautiful. They're like professional, comfortable for the fans, great experience. So I think you're right, man. I think I'd be excited about being in the Pac-12, and I'd be excited if I was Oregon State and Washington State too, to being back in a conference and to getting these teams. I,
Yep.
I mean, I would.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to watch how this new conference works out. I think it's a perfect pairing. Still would have loved to just see the Pac-12 and the Mountain West become one and
Yeah.
have that huge conference there, but I get it. Jake, do we want to go ahead and get into the dark horses
Yeah.
now?
So Matt, do you have a
I do.
dark horse? Maybe someone that people are talking about.
I do. So I'll give you one. I think Washington State's going to be pretty good, and I'm just going to give you one reason why. Jeff and I both agreed on this. They got a transfer quarterback from UC Davis because I'm going to forget his name.
Right.
I think his name's
Yeah.
Caden Pinnock or something of that nature. Dude is like jumps off the screen if you pull up a UC Davis game. Like ability to run, ability to throw on the run, ability to throw across his body, fitting in tight windows. I mean, that dude is something else. And he's one of those guys that like every year you hear about good defenses losing to a quarterback that's like a little bit unconventional, but still is able to play within a system. That's this kid. And
Mhm.
so I think he's going to win a lot of games for Washington State. Plus, anybody that's got to go up there and play, I mean, that may be them or Boise's probably the toughest place to play in this conference.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to be really good. I got flack for this, but I actually don't think Colorado State's going to be terrible. I don't think they could win it. I like if Washington State won the conference, I'd be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Mhm.
That's the first five. Colorado State, I think, is just going to be a better, right? They won 2 games last year, so give me some give me some flack. But Jim Mora coming into town is going to be like he's the total opposite of what they've been doing at Colorado State, trying to run air raid and spread you out and all this thing. Like Jim Mora is going to come in. I think he brought 3 tight ends with him from UConn. I think he brought 3 or 4 running backs with him from UConn. So you know what they're about to do.
Mhm.
And maybe that's an adjustment for some of these Pac-12 defenses that are kind of used to this West Coast style, right? Of throwing it all over the place. So I don't know. I just think they might be a little bit of a matchup issue. That's all. Don't get carried away. Um, and then I just think, Utah State and Oregon State. Jeff likes Oregon State. I wasn't buying on Oregon State.
Mhm.
I'll tell you this: the one thing I agree on is Malik Murphy was really good at Duke 2 years ago. He
Mhm.
wasn't that good this past year at Oregon State, so he's shown some flashes. They got some guys, and Oregon State and Washington State. You ought to believe they're going to be playing with a little edge all
Mhm.
season long, being like, we were Power Five, right? And we
Mhm.
were, and now we're kind of we got left behind by these guys, and now we got these new guys coming in. Everybody thinks Boise's just going to come in and take over this conference too. So they're going to play with a little extra edge, but again, I don't think Oregon State and Utah State. I don't think are going to be quite in that tier where they could win it.
Yeah, and Colorado State's an interesting one. I feel like I buy into them somehow turning
Every
that
year.
program around every year.
Every year, Jay.
Yeah.
Like it's been like
Same.
since Jim McElwain, since they won 10 games.
Yeah.
You know, it's a program that I feel like has some potential there. But we just have to see it. I did see, like, you were right about the 3 tight ends coming in from UConn.
Yeah.
So definitely see what the thought process
I think
is
they're all
there.
going to be on the field at the same time. I
Yeah.
think that's what they're going to
Some
do.
3 tight end sets.
Yeah.
Little 32 personnel. But no, it's going to be interesting to watch what this squad does. I think what Jim Mora did at UConn was extremely impressive. That was a program that felt like it was I mean, people were talking about them going back down to FCS right before he got there and had some success at UConn. And now I look at Colorado State, and it's a program that, again, kind of needs to be revitalized. They made the investment with Canvas Stadium, right? It's a beautiful place we talked about. Just interesting to see how that's going to shake out. I will say, hate to see that they're not in conference anymore, but glad we get to start the season with the border war.
Yeah. 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 I hope they're going to keep some of those alive going forward.
Yeah, that one in particular is the one that I'm like, yeah, Wyoming and Colorado State got
to has to.
Yeah.
Now, Jay, every year I feel like you and I are talking about Colorado State is a sleeping giant, and they just still haven't woken up yet.
Well, I mean, Jay Norvell's third season, they went 6-1 in the Mountain West. Like, it wasn't like it was horrendous, but it even with that season, it felt like there was some obvious holes.
Yeah.
Well, and they had that 3 overtime game against Colorado, where there was all the controversy. That game was on till like 2-3 in the morning. And you thought, this team's pretty good. And then it just never, I don't know, man. It never came to fruition for them. I'm the same. I'm every year I'm like, there's no reason they shouldn't be good. And then they're just not.
Yeah. Jay, do you want to switch gears to the American?
Yeah, let's get into the American. I think it tends to be one of the more competitive conferences. Start off with the contenders. I mean,
do you want me to read off all 14 teams in the conference?
A lot of
is that how this is?
Well, there's one team that I think is not going to be close.
Do they reside in North Carolina by chance?
Yeah.
There's a lot of uncertainty in the American. So chances are one of the programs that has the resources and the money, right? So you got to think about the haves and the have-nots of the American. Memphis, South Florida, Tulane. You got to think one of them will emerge and be really, really good. And then East Carolina sitting there, they're going to be pretty good. And then Army Navy are not going anywhere. So like I could be convinced of probably 7 teams you could convince me could win it. And UTSA is probably the 7th. What did I say? Tulane, Memphis, South Florida, UTSA, Army Navy, East Carolina. You could sell any of those to me. For me, like, a lot of people are big on Navy, as Navy seems to be like the consensus. I'm not as high on Navy. I just think, like, I get it. Like, they're going to be good. And Braxton Woodson, a lot of people think could be the next coming at quarterback, right? But like, you didn't just lose Horvath and Heidenreich. Like, you lost 3 NFL guys on a Navy team. You don't see that ever at an academy. And so you didn't just lose a bunch of production. You lost 3 guys that the NFL thought, we're going to draft these kids. We're not going to practice squad them. We're not going to, we want to draft these kids. And so I just think when you lose that much, you've got to take some sense of a step back. Now, their schedule is pretty light, especially in the first half of the season. I think they get UTSA is probably the only one that they won't be heavily favored in until, of course, they play Notre Dame. Which that's been the MO for Navy, right? They're 7 or 8-0, and they play Notre Dame, and then they got to go play Army, and then they got to start playing. But I think they can contend. Army, I like Cale Helms a lot. I actually kind of like Army better than Navy this year, but that's a little bit of an controversial pick. What I'll say about both of them that I love the most is they just, maybe this is just social media, but they just put their head down and go to work. Like, you don't hear anything about them. And then all of a sudden you see some clip from the summer workouts of some offensive or defensive lineman just like tossing like 400 pounds on a single leg on a lunge, just like walking through the weight room. And you're like, oh my, these guys are just no fluff, no smoke, just all fire at Army and Navy. And so I think they'll both be there. We know they present problems. Like you just, they're going to give people issues with the style of play that they have. They're going to play hard all the time. They're not going to turn it over. They're not going to have dumb penalties. That's going to win you a whole lot of football games. Now, the halves, as I'll call them, Memphis. I like Memphis a lot. I like Charles Huff a lot. He's kind of a dick, it seems like, but I like him a lot, man. He knows he is, and he just does whatever the hell he wants to do. And I mean, that guy won a conference at Marshall where halfway through the season, everybody in town wanted that guy out of there, and he still went ahead and won the conference. And then he took all them guys down to Southern Miss, who's been a bottom feeder for the last several years, turns them into a contender. And now he's like, now I'm going to go to Memphis where, I'm going to bring my Southern Miss guys. Jamon Tapp, by the way, look out for him, pass rushing guy at Memphis. But now you're going to go to the place that has the NIL and the resources more than anybody in the G6. So I think he got a recipe for a ton of success. And the quarterback that they brought in, Marcus Stokes, I think he filmed himself doing a rap song on Snapchat, and he might have said something inappropriate, I think is the reason why he ended up at West Florida. But he ended up at West Florida Division II school. He was, before that, I think he was committed to Penn State and then flipped to Florida on signing day.
Oh my God. Yes.
He might know who Penn State. Yeah.
I know who he is.
Kid can play.
So wait, so he's at Memphis now?
He is at Memphis now.
Whoa. I did not know that. Yes.
Time to place your bets.
What tangled webs we weave.
Yes.
That's right. And so, and Marcus Stokes, if you watch his West Florida film, now I know it's Division II. I get it. Right. But you watch his film, he could run it pretty good. He can throw it. Obviously, he was a 5 or 4-star, whatever recruit coming out of high school. I think he went to Nice in Florida where Tebow played.
Right.
I think he went to Nice.
That sounds
But Memphis also hired the offensive coordinator from Old Dominion. And if you remember how Old Dominion had a little quarterback that could run these last couple of years, Colton Joseph. I'm not saying this kid's Colton Joseph because that kid was special, but similar playing style, similar body type, similar build. I think they both go 6'3", 210 or 220, something like that. So look out for him. Now it's a ton of transfers, but they've been together. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They're just transferring all together. And they've got their stadium renovated and finished. I believe it's finished. So I think they're going to be really good. South Florida is such a question mark. And if you watch any of our shows, I'm always partial to any school from Florida. But I think Brian Hartline was like a grand slam hire down there because they've decided, like, they got shut out of the Big 12. It's kind of going around on socials right now for a pretty poor pitch to the Big 12, I think in 2016. But they've decided, if we just put some money into this thing, we could have a really good program.
Yeah.
And all
amazing.
Of a sudden, it's just a wild thought that it takes so long for places to realize this. But you get him going down, I think they'll look a lot differently. Like, he's a Big Ten guy. So I don't think you're going to see the Alex Golish try to run 90 plays and do all that stuff. Their question mark, the South Florida fans like their quarterback, Van Buren. He's an LSU transfer.
Was that Mississippi State before that?
Yeah.
So we'll see. Like, he didn't play a ton at either of those places, right? I mean,
he was a highly touted recruit, if I remember correctly. Yeah. He was like a 4 or 5-star.
And, it's interesting to see what teams do when they go in the portal. Like, do you go get the Division II national champion All-American that's played 1,000 snaps? Or do you go get the guy that maybe hasn't played meaningful football since high school, but he's got raw arm talent, or he's 6'5" and has long fingers, or the measurables, right? So I think that's what you'll see with South Florida. They lose they lost almost everything. But you're in Tampa, Florida. You're a place. They brought in a bunch of guys. Heartline's brought in a bunch of P4 guys like Van Buren. So you're not going to be lacking in talent, quote unquote, at South Florida. Tulane, I think everybody thinks Tulane is just going to totally fall off a cliff. A lot of it is because the Will Hall hire, right? I mean, he had some struggles at Southern Miss. But who hadn't had struggles at Southern Miss in a little bit? Charles Huff didn't.
Did not.
You'd have to go back to the Larry Fedora days before that.
Yeah.
Right?
So that was a less than, they didn't win the press conference with that hire, but they didn't lose nearly as much as North Texas and South Florida and those guys lost along with their coach. Like, I think they lost 26. I think it's 26 is the number that they lost, where North Texas, I think, lost 50 something in the portal. So they bring back some guys. Jamari McClure's the best one. He's their running back. He's big time. He came in the last half of the season last year and really became like, we're going to feed this kid. Yeah, I mean, the Will Hall thing is just I got to wait and see. I think their defense, Tulane's defense, I think is going to be really good. They have the youngest defensive coordinator in the country, I believe, Taylor Polk, who's a Summerall guy. And Summerall, if last year, if you talked to Summerall a lot, he talked about the depth of the defensive line. Like, they got some second and third stringers from a year ago that didn't really get to play, that he was like, dude, I wish I could play these guys, but we're too good at this spot. And they were damn good on the defensive line. So I think the defense is going to be good. We don't know who's going to play quarterback for him. I like Zion Chris, who had a really good year, I think 2 years ago at Louisiana, and then tried to go to Houston and didn't really do all that much. But I think he's the guy. I think when you have some uncertainty, you go with the mobile guy, in my opinion, and he can run it. I mean, he can go. So I don't think Tulane falls off a cliff like most people think. So you got them. I'm still on contenders, by the way. I think East Carolina is going to be good. I think they're going to be really good on defense. They're the one that's kind of always there. They're always like, you get Memphis will jump up to the top, or Tulane will jump up to the top, or South Florida, and then East Carolina's just like sitting there, it seems like, right behind them. But Blake Harrell has done wonders at East Carolina. I think they'll be really good on defense. UTSA, I can't believe I didn't mention at the top of this thing, I believe is the FanDuel or the Vegas odds on favorite in all the G6 to make the playoff. I think
really
that's accurate.
God, the Texas State game is going to be fun.
Massive game. And Texas State has had their number for the last couple of years and it's in San Marcos. Now, UTSA, they've got like almost the most certain thing at quarterback in Owen McCown. Like they're one of the few that had their QB1 going into last year, played last year, came into the spring, same guy, into the summer, same guy, going into fall camp, same guy. So I think that gives some, it gives some confirmation, I guess. It gives some hope to the UTSA fans. Like, they've got a lot of continuity. But here's the thing about UTSA. They win every game at home, but they have been awful on the road the last couple of years. Like totally different teams. I mean, you saw Tulane go into San Antonio last year and just get smoked by UTSA. And then you get UTSA goes on the road and they just look, they can't do anything offensively. And so that's going to be the question mark there for them. But anyway, you could convince me that any of those teams could win the American. Dark horse, you want one of those?
Well, I'll say this: not a dark horse. And Jay kind of made a funny in the beginning of this. I think Charlotte's going to be better. I really like Tim Albin. I still believe in him. I think last year, obviously they were pretty bad. I do believe this year they are going to be an improved team, and I think they're going to compete for a bowl game. But to your credit, Matt, this whole conference is loaded with talent.
Well, and that's the thing about Charlotte for me. And like I'm wearing a Temple shirt right now, and teams like that I think will be improved, but like where are you going to fit? Where are you? Because you're not going to be better than maybe one or two of those teams that I just talked about, but you're not going to like. I don't think now Charlotte. I feel like we had this exact conversation last year about Charlotte, though.
Yep.
And I talked about it being a sleeping giant, and it is. It's all those things. But I like Tim Albin too. And I don't get it. I've been asked over and over about the struggles at Charlotte, and I can't figure it out. There's no reason to me. But I think there's one other team that could make some noise. I don't know that they'll win it, but I think they're going to score a hell of a lot of points, and that is the Florida Atlantic Owls.
Oh, wow. Hoot.
They should have been it last year, but Zach Kitley, offensive guy, goes down there. Caden Veltkamp, they come down there from Western Kentucky. Like they can score some points. If he don't turn it over, they'll score a whole lot of points, and then they'll outscore some teams. Like I don't think they're going to win the conference, but I think they might be a team that on a random Thursday or Friday night when they got to play Memphis or South Florida or whoever, like they're going to sneak up and beat somebody and mess up, invite some weird tiebreaker on the American.
I guess another question here. Do you think Rice gets into a bowl game on the APR again?
No, I don't know. I hadn't dug into Rice's schedule all that much, so I don't know where they're going to get 5 wins, but I don't know if there's
non-conference is tough. They got Notre Dame, Western Michigan, Fresno State.
Yeah. I mean, can you get in at what's their over under? Probably 3.5. I mean,
tough. Still love that offense though. Still gonna watch that.
You like it. It's fun. That's what I was telling Jeff, one of ours, like we should start doing a favorites, a contenders, a dark horse, and then like a fun to watch. Like they're not going to win many games, but I want to watch.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, just a fun team. You don't want to miss it because you don't know what might happen.
Yeah.
Listen, I think Temple could be a little bit of a dark horse too. Just such a Casey Keeler fan. What he's able to do. It. I mean, even what he did last year, winning 5 games, was impressive to me.
I got to go up there a couple weeks ago, actually, and nobody was around. It was still the summer, but I got to see the facilities and see some stuff in the building, and they're confident. And they've Casey Keeler has adopted like the Philly mindset up there.
Yeah. Well, he's from Allentown.
So there's a culture at least being built if it's not built already. But like Temple, it's what we're not that far. It wasn't that long ago. Temple's having game day there. Temple's playing Notre Dame on primetime ABC 10 years ago. Yeah.
10 years ago.
So
they beat Penn State.
They host Penn State again this year.
I am familiar. I know. I'll be taking. I think I'm actually going to take Temple to cover. I don't think. I do not believe that they'll win, but I think there is a world where Temple makes it interesting for a little bit, and I think I'm going to take Temple to cover.
And they're going to start a quarterback that's a Penn State transfer.
Yep, Jackson Smolik. Met him at a wrestling match.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
And they also Temple's got a damn good tight end, Peter Clark. I think it's Peter. I might be making that up. It's Clark is his last name for sure. They got a damn good tight end though. So and tight ends present a mismatch somewhere. You never know.
No, yeah.
You never know.
Let's head to the MAC.
Love the MAC.
So here's the thing, Sprouse. I really love Western Michigan, and like Brock Lowry. I think is like I think he's like MAC Player of the Year. But here's the deal. for 15 years, last 15
I
years.
know.
Oh, there's never been a back-to-back
I
MAC
know.
champ. So what are your thoughts here? Is Western Michigan, are they the team to beat?
I picked them.
Yeah.
I picked them. I picked them to beat Miami in the championship game in a rematch. You're spot on.
That's
Brock Lowry, again, like across the country, when you know you have a sure thing at quarterback, like it just gives you a sense of confidence and continuity going into the year, especially in the MAC, right? Like, it seems like you don't see that.
Mm-hmm.
Brock Lowry coming back, Jalen Buckley coming back. Like we talked about the COVID kids, I feel like he's been there forever. I don't know how Western Michigan has kept Jalen Buckley there for as long as they have. I think they're going to be damn good. I picked them to repeat, even knowing that MAC teams don't repeat. So, but I think they're the favorite, and I think what Lance Taylor has done there. I mean, I know we're going to talk about it probably later on in the show, but he's one to keep your eye on if you're not a MAC fan, for somebody that could end up elsewhere.
Yeah. So yeah, like looking at others, you talked about Miami of Ohio. I have them as well. Dark horse wise, like I feel like Toledo's always going to be in it.
Yeah.
They're always going to be in the mix. I think maybe Central. I don't know. Jay, who do you have?
Yeah, listen, I know they're 129th in returning production, but I feel like I've counted Ohio out of the discussion for like the past 3 years. Scott Isfording is still going to be there. Like, this is still a team that I think is going to be competitive. I don't know that they have enough to win it with how much turnover they've had, but I think they're going to be one to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Ohio is going to be in there. They're one that's just always there, and same with Toledo. Toledo's always loaded with talent. Yep. Bunch of turnover this year with the new coach. But Mike Jacobs is bringing a bunch of guys from Mercer with him. Mm-hmm. And I know it's Division II or whatever, say what you want to say, but there's something to be said about like a culture of winning that comes with you. And that guy's won, I don't know what the number, I don't remember what the number is, 7 out of 10 conference championships his last 10 years as a coach. So
and that was a playoff team in the FCS. Again, I don't know how many of those guys started or whatever, but like Mercer was a playoff team last year. I don't feel like that is a team that's really had too much of a winning culture, but him going there, doing very well, and now going to Toledo, I really like the hire, and I think like you're saying that they're at least going to be in the conversation.
Well, Mercer, I can't remember who. They gave somebody a run for their money last year. It might have been Auburn. I want to say it was Auburn, maybe. Like they played real tight last year. And then Toledo, as you're looking that up, Jay, they've always been talented and good, but their fans are like, we've been talking about this all offseason. Toledo's one of these teams. Memphis is one of these teams. South Florida's probably one of these teams where like your coach leaves, but there's almost a sense of relief because what do? You're not going to fire somebody that's winning 9 and 10 games every single year. But then at the same time, hey, coach, we're winning 9 and 10 games every single year. When are we going to win the damn conference?
Yeah.
And so there's something to be said. So I think a lot of people were like, all right, Jason Candle, like, dude, we've been pumping out draft picks. We've been easily the most talented team in the MAC. Recruiting classes best in the MAC, but we're not winning it. So what's the problem? And so I think there's a little sense of like excitement about, okay, now maybe we got a guy that's a winner. Now let's see if he can figure out the talent piece of it. Did you figure out who they?
So Mercer
Auburn.
did keep it 14-14 in the first quarter, but the final score was 62-17.
No, against Auburn?
Yes. The Mercer Bears.
You're with me. I think there's got to be something else. What about the year before? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's your show. I don't want to.
Well, we can keep digging. No, this is fun. I like being like the young Jamie for us.
It was 62-17. Why did I think that game was closer?
I felt like I remembered people panicking on social media
Yeah.
because Mercer, but it could have been that. I mean, it could have been.
I mean, maybe just the first quarter being 14-14,
Yeah.
a little bit surprised.
That's interesting. Well,
Yeah, I don't know.
never mind.
I feel like I remembered it that way too. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
don't
like
feel too bad about it.
Jake. I like Central Michigan a lot too. I love Matt Drinkle. He like if I was being recruited in today's day and age, like I feel like I would absolutely love playing for that guy. And I think I don't know if it was on your show or not, but I'm fairly certain I had him as a dark horse last year.
Yeah.
And they, you know, they played pretty well last year, and they at the end of the year, for what it's worth, were kind of in contention in the MAC mathematically. But you know they're going to play hard, they're going to play physical, they're going to be good on the offensive line, and so you know, I mean, that's every coach in the world says we want to be physical, we want to win a line of scrimmage. Like everyone says that and they do it. So you're gonna win a lot of football games like that.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Akron's offensive coordinator raffle?
I mean, they sold out all their suites, didn't they? They got a whole lot of publicity, didn't they? Like Barstool and them ain't talking about Akron for on the field stuff. So you got a bunch of people talking about you. I mean, now my question is how much are they going to allow this person to actually do?
I think there's a disclaimer that there was like that they're going to have their hand held.
Like, I think I think they might sit in the offensive meeting room as they're game planning. And, you know, coach might be like, what do you think, Jay?
Hey, get power, baby.
Let's go. I think we bring in 3 tight ends here and a fullback. But dude, it'd be interesting. I mean, or maybe what I think might be cool is if I don't think this is what they're going to do.
Yeah, Joe.
What might be cool is if they gave you like a multiple choice. Like, hey, we'd be okay if you ran one of these 3 plays.
Yeah.
Which one do you want to do? You know, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. The annexation of Puerto
Rico. I don't think Joe.
Yeah.
I don't think Joe Moorhead is bringing in 3 tight ends. You know,
no. What? You imagine if they just open up with the wildest trick play ever, and it goes for 6, and they show some kid in the press box.
I'm picturing like Hugh Freeze up there in the bed.
Yeah, in the hospital bed.
I hate to do this again. Jake may have frozen.
He's frozen. Yeah, I see him.
That's okay. Oh, there he is. You're moving now, buddy.
Uh-oh.
Listen, this is the magic of podcasting. It just gets difficult sometimes.
There's no question. I had the AT&T guy in my house on when did I have him here? Friday afternoon, because mine kept cutting out. All my lights would be green, everything good to go, and it would just drop me out of nowhere. So I had to call AT&T out here. But
yeah, you hate to see it.
Yeah.
Well, we'll keep moving along here as Jake tries to recover his internet. Going to the Mountain West now, where Northern Illinois resides now, by the way, which is wild to say.
Yeah, same with Sacramento State. You know, I do like the 8 and 10 team conferences. They're much easier to preview, and you know that there's not going to be some ridiculous tiebreaker of 2 teams that haven't played each other, you know, being in the thing. But the Mountain West is pretty good too. Like, as much as they lost, you bring in a North Dakota State who I think is going to come in immediately. Like, if you thought James Madison and Jacksonville State and them came in and were dominant, which they were, buddy, I got bad news for the Mountain West, because I think North Dakota State's going to come in firing.
Do you think they're a contender right off the bat?
I had them as a contender, not even a dark horse, because I think like typically when a team moves up or whatever, like, your skill is good and comparable, but it's different on the offensive and defensive line. Well, like, North Dakota State is not going to be that case. Like, they're going to be ready on the offensive and defensive line. The skill is the concern, in my opinion, for North Dakota State. So I think, like, they're going to come in, and that dome is going to be just ridiculous. for some of these teams to go to and play. That week 0 Jacksonville State, North Dakota State game is going to be incredible. And I can say this from experience because my Blue Raiders of Middle Tennessee were the guinea pigs that had to go to James Madison for their first home FBS game, and we got obliterated. Jacksonville State a little better than Middle Tennessee at this point in program trajectory, but I think that game's going to be awesome. So I think North Dakota State will come in and contend right away.
It's hard not to get excited about this program that has been such a storied dynasty at the FCS level for so long. It feels like a natural fit in the Mountain West Conference. Like I'd love, we've talked about this. Like if you're calling up programs, I think North Dakota State's top of the list. You'd love to see South Dakota State, Montana State up there too. Yeah, I think that would round out the Mountain West so picturesquely. I just don't think those programs necessarily want to make the jump. Yeah. Do you worry at all? Like I know North Dakota State's brand of football has always been physicality. Do you worry at all about that translating just at having to play an FBS schedule?
I don't think so. I mean, what I would worry about a little bit is that when they go play a UNLV who's going to try to, run a bunch of plays, spread you out, like that's where I worry for them. But I don't worry about them thinking, okay, we played really physical and now we just played Air Force and we just played New Mexico and we just played Wyoming. Like, I don't think they're going to walk away from that feeling like they're beat up, or we'll see. No. Man, I wish freaking Montana and then would join them too, though.
It would just be such a perfectly well-rounded conference.
And then you could put like Sacramento State in the Pac-12. I mean, if you just mapped it out properly, you could move NIU back. I mean, it's just, you could put Texas State more in this conference. I don't know, man. But I think in the Mountain West, though, I mean, I think UNLV is the overwhelming. UNLV and New Mexico are kind of the consensus. UNLV, I mean, they bring back a lot. Everybody's excited about Jackson Arnold at quarterback, but then you heard Dan Mullen come out 2 or 3 days ago and say Alex Orji is playing maybe a little better through camp. So maybe he gets the nod. Jet Thomas, big time running back, home run threat every time he touches the ball. And then UNLV, like Dan Mullen, that's what he's been doing. It's going to be transfer heavy. A bunch of P4 guys are going to come to UNLV. But I think they're going to be really, really good. I think they're breathing a sigh of relief that they don't have to see Boise State twice a year anymore. And now they got New Mexico is kind of the next one. And Jason Eck, I mean, what can you say?
Heck of a ball coach.
Like, what can you eat? Like New Mexico, it's got to be one of the hardest places in the country to be successful. And then before he got there, they had Devin Dampier on that team, and you lose those guys, and he comes in, and then they win 9 games off the rip. And then, like, you come back this year, and maybe the conference is a little bit, watered down from what it was, maybe. But, I mean, I think they're going to be really good. They're good on the offensive line. They're good on defense. He's got his son playing middle linebacker. So they bring back the quarterback, they bring back the middle linebacker, bring back the head coach. So you've got your leadership or your captains and stuff in place. Yeah, man, I think they're going to be really damn good.
It's a weird conference with like the additions of Northern Illinois, North Dakota State. North Dakota State, I think, fits a little bit more geographically. Yeah. But like you said, with New Mexico, I mean, I think they have a lot coming back. They were my pick for contender. I think UNLV you have to bring up just because I feel like they have a lot from a talent standpoint and what they're able to bring in through the portal. Mm-hmm. One team that you didn't name and maybe have them as a dark horse is Hawaii. I mean, it's hard not to look at that program and what they did last year. Obviously, always tough to go out to the islands and play. That's a program that I'm excited to watch this year.
Yeah, I think they're going to be really good too. And if they can keep the QB healthy. Last year they go and they beat Stanford and he gets hurt in that game, and you just watched his leg like he couldn't do anything, and he still went out there and played. But then they reported that the top receiver got hurt in camp. Well, I'm getting DMs of people saying he's out for the year. Like this was before the school even reported it. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, hey, Jeff, change your bet on Hawaii, buddy. They got some injury reporting going on. Well, then I get you're getting tweets now that it's like, oh, it's like a sprain. He'll be back for week 1. And so nobody even knows. Pafeli Ashlock's the guy I'm talking about, their top receiver. So I don't know. Is he going to be there? But you're right. Anybody that's got to go there and travel, it's going to be difficult. It always is. And they've got a little sense of that Hawaii in the early mid 2000. Timmy Chang's the coach, right? They won 9 games last year. They got the quarterback. They got the receiver. Like, it's starting to look a little bit like the Hawaii that, the 3 of us fell in love with growing up.
Yeah.
So we're on the Mountain West now?
We are.
Jake, welcome back. We're about done with the Mountain West.
Dude, that was bad. That was bad. However, I did look on YouTube. You guys were doing an excellent job without me.
we got an extra viewer picked up.
Well, no, my thought process was I hope the stream didn't go down, but no, the stream was fine. It was just me. Really quick, Sunbelt La Tech. I I La Tech has a shot, a dark horse.
Oh, well, so Jake, this is where I messed up. I went into the Mountain West after the MAC, so I completely skipped the Sun Belt.
We didn't even do the Sun Belt.
No.
Oh, they're going to kill me for it. Because first I missed it on the thumbnail, then I missed it on the notes. The Sun Belt fans are going to be
Sun Belt's going to hate you. Matt, did you guys talk about North Dakota State?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I like them. I think they contend right away.
He has them as a contender.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. The only like I had like UNLV, New Mexico as favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have North Dakota State, Hawaii as contenders. And then my dark horse, which of course I'm biased here, I think Air Force is going to be a lot better this year.
That was going to be my other question too.
Like they were bad the last 2 years, and that just don't happen there.
Yep.
Because before that, they were winning 10 games a year for I think 3 or 4 straight. The last 2 years, you have Air Force being down at the same time Army and Navy are both up. So Air Force is losing to both of them the last 2 years, where normally that's kind of a split or at least a split for Air Force. So you've been losing those 2 games the last 2 years, and then you've been in a tough conference. Their offense was pretty damn good last year. They scored a bunch of points. They just couldn't stop anything defensively.
No.
That's my fear for them, is because like you can't go fill those holes in the portal. So you either have to have somebody that was, either incoming freshman or a prep school guy or a guy that you kind of had on the freshman team not playing, or those guys would have had to get a lot better in the secondary. And so that's my worry for Air Force. But I think I like the quarterback. Zarka's really good.
And second amount of production coming back in the conference. So they have a good amount coming back.
When the academy teams are good, you look at 22 starters and there's like 21 seniors and juniors.
Mm-hmm.
That's when they're good. And I think Air Force has got 20 between the offense and defense, seniors and juniors, but their young guys are those DBs,
right,
which were kind of an issue last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I mean, we're not going to talk about them as a contender because I think it's going to be a rough year for UTEP, but glad to see them in the Mountain West. It feels like that
makes sense.
A better fit as
an actual realignment move where you're like, oh, okay, seems about right.
Yep. Love the Sun Bowl. Love that program.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right, let's talk about the Sun Belt so they don't get out the pitchforks and torches at Jay.
Tar and feather me.
Yeah, for forgetting about him. So, Matt, I feel like James Madison is going to be the team. I mean, they've been on a tear lately in the G6-5. So, Billy Napier coming in, do you think it's a reloading for them?
It's hard to tell. And that was one where, like, Billy Napier gets this Sunbelt Billy moniker because he didn't do well at Florida, but the guy did phenomenal in the Sunbelt.
Yes.
So that's like, if you're in the Sunbelt and you hired Sunbelt Billy, it's like, this is a great hire.
This works.
My thing is this, like, how long will it sustain? And I think James Madison's a program. Like, they're not relying on one coach or one player or one recruiting class or whatever. But a lot of times it gets tough when you have a year or two, coach is gone. Another year, another coach gone. And eventually it seems like it catches up to you. But Billy Napier is more of a, like, he ain't looking for the next job, not at this point.
No.
Right. So he's going to want to build that thing and sustain that thing. They lose a bunch, but it's hard to bet against them. I think they've got to be the favorite, at least in the East. Them, and I would, a lot of people like Old Dominion. I like Old Dominion a lot, but to me, last year was Old Dominion's year. It just so happened that James Madison was a juggernaut last year. And that's like something we talk about it. I could talk about it all day long. So forgive me if I ramble at all here, but like, that's football, man.
Yeah.
That's what's so awesome about it, is you could have the best team you've had in a generation. Well, unfortunately, the team that's in your division, in your conference, also has it. And so you don't win. You have a great, memorable season, but you don't win anything.
Right.
And then you got to come back and you hope you can replicate some of it. But I can't see Old Dominion being as good as they were last year. Now, maybe they don't have to be. Maybe they take a half a step back. Maybe James Madison takes 3 steps back, and now Old Dominion's at the top of the East. I think sticking with the East, I think Marshall is going to be pretty good. Oh. If you look at all conference teams, Marshall's got more guys than anybody on there. And Tony Gibson, I mean, for what they lost, like what they win 5 games last year. It seems like they didn't have a very good year.
Yeah,
but they lost everything, everything off of that team, and they're coming on. They came off a conference championship, and so he had a weird program to inherit, kind of, and they got better as the season went. So I think there's some momentum going for Marshall. In the West, I think you got Troy and you got Louisiana. And I think that's about where I'm at in the West. I think Troy, Jared Parker too, man. Another one that, like, John Summerall's getting his door beat down by every job in the world, even when he was at Troy, and goes to Tulane. Bunch of Troy, the staff, a lot of guys from the staff, a lot of guys leave Troy. Jared Parker comes in there and kind of steadies the ship and keeps it rolling. And they got a quarterback. You kind of worried that Jared Parker would come in and it would flip. Like, you'd lose the really good Troy defenses of John Summerall, but you'd start to be a little more offensive minded. It seems like the offense has steadily improved year over year for him, and the defense hadn't really. I mean, like, they've still been good. They weren't 12 points a game John Summerall defense good with Javon Solomon and Carlton Marshall and those guys, but they've still been pretty damn good. And in Louisiana, it's all about the lunch Winfield at quarterback. Got to keep them healthy, and the Cajuns could be back. Wouldn't it be something to see a Mike Desormeaux, Billy Napier Sunbelt Championship matchup?
Oh, that would be beautiful.
Wouldn't that be something?
That would be wild.
It could happen. I would venture to say it's relatively likely that happens.
No, it is. What I kind of jumped the gun on it, but like Louisiana Tech, I felt like last year they were going to be in a full rebuild. They go 8-5. I think if Blake Baker stays healthy, I think that's a team that can at least make a little bit of noise. I don't know if they can win it, but I think we're seeing a bit of I think we could feel, or I feel that we could see a resurgence for La Tech.
La Tech, Jeff went down there, 2 years ago, I think, when Middle played there. Jeff was doing radio for him and got to spend some time in that building. And La Tech, they know what they want, right? And they have a plan. They have like a detailed out plan for how they want to operate in NIL, how they want to operate in every different aspect. So it seems like there's alignment there between administration, athletic department, coaching staff. And so that's the recipe for success in college football when you have all that alignment. Now, yeah, I agree. I mean, they were pretty good last year.
Yeah.
And so, many would say think most people would say the Sun Belt is better than Conference USA.
Yes.
What I would say, not necessarily better, I would say it's much deeper.
Mhm.
But I don't know that, yeah, James Madison last year, of course, but I don't know that like James Madison this year is going to be much better than a Jacksonville State. Like there were some really good teams in Conference USA last year. Jacksonville State was really good. Kennesaw obviously came out of nowhere, won the whole damn
Yep.
thing. And then Liberty was terrible, but they've got more talent and resources, than anybody in that conference. So like, I don't think it's not as terrible as it's made out to be. And La Tech did pretty good last year in that conference.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
like you said, I think
who could have picked Kennesaw State to do well? Man, who
All
could
right.
have done that?
Hey, let's hold off until we get to Conference USA. No, I was going to say, like with the Sun Belt, this is another move that I think just made geographical sense too, though. By the way, Louisiana Tech coming in,
Mhm.
you already have Louisiana Monroe
Yep.
and Louisiana Lafayette in the conference. Love having all three of those programs in the same conference. Just makes a ton of sense. Jake, I'm with you. I think if you get a good season healthy out of Baker, Jalen Mickens at receiver, I think this is an offense that could be pretty solid. But it's a tough conference, right? You just have that level of depth in the West. Southern Miss is taking a step up, obviously. Troy, who we know always going to be a force defensively. Arkansas State's one that I kind of have like an eye on as a possible dark horse. Like I think they could be a solid team next year. Just gonna be interesting to watch this division.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I agree with Arkansas State too. I mean, I almost feel like last year should have been their year too. But there's teams like Arkansas State, like South Alabama, that always they're always pretty good. They have a game or two every year where you watch them and you're like, oh, they're really good. And then they have a lot of games where you wonder, like, what we got to fire this guy, So, so
it is wild to see Major Applewhite there on the head coach for South Alabama.
Man, in South, like you look at them, was it 2 years ago? They got Gio Lopez going, they got the running back, like they had all these guys, and like occasionally it would all click and they would look really good. And then they'd go play Troy or whoever, and it would just all fall apart and they'd finish, 5-7 or whatever they finish. But I keep an eye on them too.
Yeah. One program that I feel like has taken a step back, but we used to talk about all the time with the Sun Belt. Appalachian State. I mean,
I know.
What like it feels like weird to not talk about them in regards to this conference. Like what do they take a step forward here, or is their time in the sun kind of gone?
Man, I hope so, because there's not a play. Like, I love Boone. I love going up there, and when they're good, I mean, it's awesome environment anyway. But when they're good, obviously, there's a little more to it. I think for App State, I think they'll be a little better. I do, but I don't know where they'll fit. I'm just kind of waiting to see how good or bad James Madison is, because if James Madison, if they're even close to what they were last year, then it might be a long decade for the rest of the Sun Belt East. But if they take a big step back and kind of fall back to the mean a little bit, then you might see an App State or a Georgia Southern even like compete. I worry for App State that it's built on tradition and history, and you got to get kids up there to see the game day to want to go there, because there's not a whole lot going on in Boone outside of football. And if you love ball and you go up there, you would never leave. You would never want to go anywhere else. But I think it's a different type of kid. I don't think the NIL situation is very good there. And I don't know. I just worry about it. I don't know.
Also, Matt, just going off of your point, App State, to get guys up there, the kids need to take visits up there, see the atmosphere, see everything. And if you're not winning games and your attendance goes down, and now you're taking kids around there to see the atmosphere, your recruiting's probably going to hurt a little bit too, because you're not giving them that, big game day atmosphere that they're yearning for.
Yeah.
Can I get what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Well, and the good news for App State is so far they hadn't really lost any fans. I mean, so
Right.
far they're selling out every home game. But you wonder if there's a recipe, and I'm just sort of thinking out loud here, so everybody relax. You wonder if there's a recipe where maybe they go all in on like almost last chance guys or something like that. We're like, look, dude, you just come up here and ball for 1 year. It's going to be awesome. They'll build you a statue. Like you won't buy a thing in this town, but you lock in and you focus on ball for 1 year. Like you wonder if they do that. But again, all that being said, it's like it's only Logan's second year, right? So give him some time to do what he wants to do. He's more of an he's a quarterbacks coach, more of his time was offensive coordinator, quarterback. So give him some time to maybe get some guys. They think they've got a quarterback. And they had a weird quarterback situation, right? They lose Aguilar, and then they're kind of getting talked about because the whole Aguilar situation. So I don't know, man. I hope so. There's nothing more than what I want is for think about that Sun Belt East and think about the programs and honestly the West too. But think about the East. Like right now you have James Madison, Old Dominion, who are pretty damn good. But Marshall is maybe the most historic program in the G6, right? Like think about them being good along with that. Think about App State being good along with that. And then Georgia Southern being good. You've got great fan bases all across all of those. So, man, would it just be special if they were just battling year after year?
Yeah. Football's just better when you have programs that are historic, that have kind of that tradition.
Yeah.
Good. But I kind of sidetracked us with that question. I think
no, it's fine.
We want to get to the Conference USA. Jake brought up.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and dive into that. I know that's the Blue Raiders. It's the home conference for you there, Sprouse.
Yeah. I have remained very objective on the Blue Raiders, and until I see it, I'm not buying it. Now, Jeff went to practice on Saturday, and he reported good news back to me, but I'll leave it at that. The Blue Raiders do have a quarterback. This kid, Roman Gagliano, can play, and he's big kid and can run it. So I don't want to start talking about it. I'll get excited and think we got a chance. So
who are the contenders in the Conference USA?
Jacksonville State, to me, has got to be. And by the way, I could not believe how cool Jacksonville State was to go to a game at. They got an atmosphere that's big time, like along the lines of the App States of the world. And I had no clue. I had no idea. But they bring back a quarterback, Caden Creel. They've got a receiver that's 6'8", 220, DeAndre Johnson, and he can play. And he's not a he's 6'8", I know 3 off, but he's not like an awkward. Sometimes you see these real tall guys that look like baby giraffes out there. Yeah. This guy ain't. Yeah. This guy could go up and get it. Now it's also Jacksonville State, so they don't want to throw it. They want to run the ball. But they lose Cam Cook. He led the nation in rushing last year. So you got to think the running game may take a little bit of a step back. Like they were running the ball all over the place. We went to the Kennesaw State regular season game in Jacksonville. They had a walk-on left tackle that was at like 240 playing, and they still just do what they do. They'll be good on defense. They're going to run the ball. Caden Creel's pretty damn good quarterback. Liberty has got to be the other one. I know they weren't very good last year. I get it. But they just have so many. The resources there, especially in Conference USA, are second to none. Their facilities are second to none. Their fan base is unbelievable. Jamie Chadwell at Media Days talked a lot about his health was sort of a problem and maybe a distraction last year. I also think one of the I think Athlon puts like the little assistant coaches quip in their preview magazine, like, and it used to be they all used to talk trash, but now they're playing nice. But whoever gave their Liberty little quote was basically saying it seemed like they got a bunch of guys that didn't love football and just wanted the quick check. And if you watched Liberty going back 2 years, going back to Caden Salter after the Fiesta Bowl year, that tracks the way when you watch them play. They've just had a ton of inconsistency on both sides of the ball, really. But I think they'll be better. They've got to be. I would throw Western Kentucky into the mix. They're always in the mix. They're one of those two, though, that like they're always in the mix, but they hadn't won it in a long time. First time in a long time, Western Kentucky's got a quarterback returning and not the new FCS kid. Now, those kids have all worked out pretty well for them. But Tisdale's a pretty good player. He's got KD Hutchinson, pretty good receiver. I think they'll be good, especially offensively. You got to think Kennesaw takes a step back. I mean, they found a way to get Amari Odom and Coleman Bennett, and those guys are not there anymore. Now Kennesaw being where it's at geographically, you're always going to be able to find some kids in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Why Georgia State can't figure that out on the other side of the city is baffling to me. But you're always going to be able to find kids. You're always going to be able to find kids out of Atlanta that go up to the Big Ten and they don't like it, or they don't play as much as they thought. It's cold or whatever. And they're going to want to come back home. And Jerry Mack, I mean, should have been the national everything coach of the year last year. I mean, I get Signetti and that stuff, but like, come on. I mean, you took Kennesaw from just and coming out of nowhere and being really good, and then winning in Jacksonville on a conference championship game. But I would say Jacksonville State, Liberty, Western Kentucky, maybe below. I think Kennesaw is going to be fine. Like, I don't think they're going to be terrible by any means. I just think they got to take somewhat of a step back.
That makes sense.
How about, because for my dark horses here, how about Delaware? Do you think they have a shot?
Buddy, I got Delaware in the championship game.
Oh, do you now?
I love Delaware. Nick Minicucci, the quarterback, is a dog. He's like Brett Favre 2.0, right? Just like done. Now, it gets him in so much trouble. And they'll have some Tuesday night game where he turns it over 3 times because he lowers his head and tries to truck somebody to get an extra yard on, 4th and 19 or whatever he's doing. But he does some careless stuff with the ball, and I think he's got to correct that. But I love watching them play, and they're damn good. Tough place to play.
Yeah.
For anybody that's got to go up there on the road. The thing about Conference USA is it's kind of the same in the MAC, is they get these weeknight games, and you get out there and you got to go down to FIU, who, by the way, I like as well. Yeah. You got to go down to FIU on a Tuesday or Wednesday, and there's literally going to be a couple hundred people there. And it is tough to play in those environments. Now, at least at FIU, when there's a couple hundred people, the weather will be nice. But, let's just say you got to go up to Middle on a Tuesday night.
Yep. And
there's 600 people there, and it's raining, and it's cold, and it sucks. And there's games. I mean, I've been on sidelines where it's like that, and you're just like, all I want to do is get back in the locker room, man. It's so bad. And so those games, if you're a Delaware or like a Jacksonville State who's used to playing in front of relatively good crowds, and then you got to go down and play in those environments, and it's tough to. Coach Stock used to always tell us, you're gonna have to bring your own juice in this game. There ain't gonna be nobody there, he would say, and so it's tough. But anyway, I like Delaware a lot. I think because I think they're going to get a little better, and I think Kennesaw is going to take a little step back. So I think you're going to see Jacksonville State at the top, and then I think you're going to see this battle: Delaware, Western Kentucky, maybe Kennesaw, maybe FIU in that mix too.
Yeah, and I have FIU as one of my dark horse picks there. Florida Worldwide, I like to call them sometimes because they got the Pitbull Stadium. There. But no, I mean Willie Simmons taking this program to a bowl game in year one, I think is huge. You talk about toughest jobs in sports or in college football, right? Talk about how tough it is to win in Albuquerque. What Jason X done. I mean, FIU has chewed up and spit out coach after coach after coach. So what Willie Simmons is able to do there was impressive. And I think he's going to build on it this year. You have them as a dark horse.
Yeah, I like them a lot. I think they're going to be really good on defense. They got a really good defensive line, some pass rushers. And as everybody knows, like they always have athletes. Like they're always going to come out with some running back that's just really good or a receiver that's really good. You can go in your stadium and throw a rock, and there's a 3-star recruit that nobody knew about that can play Division I football down there. So, we shall see.
You have any others, Matt? Any other dark horses?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Glad Sam Houston State's getting back home to Bowers.
Yeah.
Those Shell Energy games were a tough watch.
They just announced that Snapback Sports sponsorship. They were sponsoring a team for, I think they gave them $100,000 or something to put a patch on the jersey. Sam Houston might have the worst NIL situation in America.
It's not good.
I'm pretty sure they do.
So the fact that you go back to Temple, the fact that Casey Keeler and then that staff did what they did at Sam Houston is like, to me, those are the coaches you want to hire, right? They never will because they don't win a lot, like as many games as you'd like. But ain't no disrespect to anybody. But if you're not winning 10 games at Memphis, you should be canned. But if you're winning 7 games, 8 games at Sam Houston,
they won
that's
10.
the guy you got to hire. Yeah. In a move up year, in a transition year.
Yeah. It's crazy. But I guess we're on the topic of coaches. So we can go ahead and get into this discussion. Who do you think was the best coaching hire in the group of 6 this offseason?
Best coaching hire. Oof. I think for short term wanting to win now, it's got to be Charles Huff.
That's who I have.
Got to be. Yeah. I like the Heartline hire too. I think both of those guys, though, are going to be like, as soon as we win a bunch of games, they're out of there. Long-term hire, I love Neil Brown getting hired at North Texas.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Long-term play. We didn't even talk about North Texas.
No.
But it's going to be tough. They lost a lot.
Yeah, they did.
Jay, who did you have?
I mean, I love the Jim Mora hire.
Yeah.
I think you look at what he did at UConn, and I think going into Colorado State, a program that's really trying to get where they want to be, I think it's going to make a lot of sense. I mean, it should, like we talked about, to see the 3 tight ends and what they're going to do matchup wise. But no, I think that was just a great decision for the Rams, and should see how that works out.
Yeah. So Matt, who is one coach that you think is going to be coaching in a power conference very soon, if you had to put money on it?
Well, I think unfortunately there's probably more than one.
Yeah.
I think the guy that will be the name, right, is going to be Eck at New Mexico.
Yep.
I think he's out of there. The thing is too, you always look at, and I don't know if the coaches or their agents do this on purpose, or if maybe some media folks get wind of something on purpose. But like Jason X sat down we talked about Josh Pate.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not doing that interview. You know what I'm saying? Like, Summerall, was all over the place last year. He went on with Pate. He went on with Barstool. He was going on.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and again, I don't know who's orchestrating that. Is it their agent saying like, let's get you out there, let's get the public talking about you?
Yep.
Or is it, do you have some folks in media that are smart that are saying, okay, this is the next guy, let me be the one to get this relationship going, because I know he's going to be coaching at Ohio State next, and I want to be the guy that was talking to him when he was at New Mexico.
Right.
My working theory here is that the reason Wisconsin didn't fire Luke Fickell this past season is because they want to get back home. They wanted to just see him do it for one more year, though.
Well, and that's the thing about I have changed my opinion on coaches leaving over the past year or two, because we talked about New Mexico being a really tough place to win. And so if you're Jason Eck and you win 8 or 9 games, or maybe you win the conference this year, and you're going to get calls to go, you might get the Wisconsin call. You're probably not getting the Bama call or the Florida, like you're probably not getting that,
Right.
but you might get the Wisconsin call. So in my view now, you have to take it, because if you don't take it now, and then you come back to New Mexico and you go from 9 wins to 7 wins, and then you go from 7 wins to 6 wins, and then that's kind of then you're stuck there. You're going to get fired at New Mexico eventually. I mean, you look at some of the people that left, like you look at Silverfield that left Memphis. Like, for one, I think Memphis fans are ecstatic with the change.
Oh yeah.
But like, that dude was winning 10 games every year at Memphis. But it was getting close to where that seat was going to be hot. This is like, you better take this job now, or next year you're going to get fired.
Yeah.
So like, they have to take it. I mean, it sucks as a G6 fan, but you got to do it. I mean, because in today's landscape, sustaining success is almost impossible. So you got to, you have 2 good years, you got to go.
Yep. No.
Just the nature of the beast these days.
Yep.
But then you can come back home after you fail at the other side.
Well, and that was part of my thought with that, because he's a Wisconsin guy through and through, born in the state, played football there. Like, that one just made so much sense to me.
Yeah.
He seems like he could be on a Wisconsin
He
sideline.
he gives Bert vibes, I feel like.
Yes.
He's cool. Doesn't he seem just like cool?
He does.
I like
They're doing
I
the
like him.
Soprano skits with him and his wife, and I mean, just God, can't we just
It's
keep?
good.
Can we not keep something nice in the G6, man?
Yeah.
Love that for New Mexico, by the way. It was fun to see that program, like, getting fans in that place last year.
And for New Mexico, like, if let's just hypothetically, it plays out like he goes to Wisconsin or somewhere, like, you can nail the next hire and keep it going a little bit.
Yeah.
That's what Tulane did. If Willie Fritz leave and they nailed the next one and probably, I mean, not probably, got a little even better. So now they're hoping they can sustain. James Madison, Signetti, I don't know that you could really improve on that at this point, but like, they nailed the Chesney hire, kept it rolling. Chesney's the one that made the playoff, not Signetti.
Yeah.
Yep.
So anyway,
No, I get it. So Matt, we're gonna do some fun rapid fire questions here. Okay.
I'm not good at this stuff. I'm long-winded.
So first, if you had a sponsor, any G5 conference like the Monster Energy Big 12, what would you do?
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, wow. So like, I get to pick the brand and
which conference?
What conference in the G5 or G6?
Okay. Top of my head, and this is probably coming sooner rather than later, would be like the Caesars Mountain West, like, because you got UNLV and Reno, and you could have a casino sponsor.
Yeah,
I think that sounds illegal, other than the fact that FanDuel and DraftKings sponsor everything else in college football.
See, when you said Caesars, I thought you were going to go to the Little Caesars MAC conference.
Well, that fits. Little Caesars or Ford, something up there. Detroit would fit.
Yeah.
Boy. The American could go a number of ways. I think could keep something pretty patriotic or something like, I don't know, Black
Yeah.
Rifle Coffee or something like that.
I joked that they're probably going to get a defense contractor to sponsor that one.
A Boeing, a Raytheon, or
Lockheed Martin,
Lockheed
American.
Martin. Well, back when we played in the Armed Forces Bowl, it was
It was the
Lockheed
I think it still
Martin.
is the Lock.
Yeah.
And then like Northrop Grumman or whatever was the secondary sponsor. Yeah, that'd be a good one.
All right, here we go. So Matt, we're gonna end the episode. This is how we've been ending every single episode so far this year, with a best of tailgates. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a lunch, breakfast, blah 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 blah, and I want to know what is your go-to for tailgating. So I need a lunch, meal, and a side. Meaning, if it's a 3:30 kick, what are you having for lunch, and what is
or an evening kick?
Or an evening kick.
Okay, afternoon kick. It's the best food I've ever had at a tailgate was down at Louisiana. So I think you could go any number of jambalaya, boudin. Yeah, that's what I would say. Jambalaya, boudin on the side. You can't. I
have to bring this up. Jake did not know what boudin was until
not.
he was recently introduced on somebody else mentioned it.
Yes,
it's special, isn't it? If you haven't had it. But funny enough, so our athletic trainer Biggie was a Louisiana guy. And he would always talk about food from down there. I'm like, dude, and I remember being like, what are you talking about? Boudin. And then I went down to Louisiana for a championship game. And I mean, just all of it, everything about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I would say that for the lunch.
We'll get you some shipped up there, Jake.
There's a butcher shop outside of New Orleans. And I can't think of the name. I'll text you guys after that ships. I don't know if they ship boudin or anything like that, but they ship like Cajun jerky and all that stuff. Oh, guys, life-changing.
That's wild.
I disrailed this talk a little bit. Sticking with the lunch, what would be a side for this tailgate? Or are you just going with boudin as a side?
Well, I wouldn't go with like a typical side for that kind of meal. So like in that scenario, jambalaya maybe as the main meal, boudin as the side. But I mean, I'm a wings guy, always. Got to go to me, and you got to go a dry rub in an outdoor tailgate setting because you have nowhere to necessarily wipe anything wet. So you got to go a dry lemon pepper maybe, or a dry garlic parm, something like that.
I like that call. Let's go with a drink. What are we doing for our beverage here for this lunch tailgate?
This is lunch.
Lunch.
Now, let me ask you this though: are we in September or are we in November at this tailgate? Because if this is in September, afternoon, any ice cold, hard hitting light beer is top of the line. Now, you would talk about like if I'm on that jambalaya and they got, I'm gonna probably try to find something local. I know all the teams now have like their own special beer, which I enjoy doing that. But like a good Andy Gator down in Louisiana is good. But I'm a light beer guy. I'm not a real craft beer guy. Now sun goes down. I'm a gin and tonic man.
Oh, little G&T.
G&T, and now you can get it in a can. So you could get a long drink in a can. Love a good long drink. The Finnish long drink is good stuff. In the evening only though. Like I don't want to,
right.
We got all day.
We're old enough now. We know to pace ourselves.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes. What about a breakfast food?
At a tailgate, the safe bet is to just do like donuts because you want finger food.
Yeah.
But I think we were down at App one year for a noon kickoff and we started tailgating at like 9. And I feel like we were eating omelets off the griddle, like a good ham and cheese omelet, if I remember correctly. And then at that point, if you're that early, right? I mean, then you coffee, of course, but You could do mimosas, or you could do Bloody
There
There
Mary.
we go. And that's the next question. Is
And
what the
that's our next
breakfast
question.
drink would
I knew where you were going with it. I knew where you were going with it.
be. Oh
But
man,
see, I'm not drinking a mimosa in November in
No.
North Carolina. I'm drinking coffee.
maybe a little Irish coffee.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
No, we always talk about this. Me and Jake. Texas has a strong breakfast taco culture. I think that plays well
Yeah,
for tailgate.
that's good.
But you also get a little bit of the biscuit. You can get a sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit.
Mhm.
Up there, where we had the tailgate in Penn State, it was more of a muffin situation, like a McMuffin
Really?
type deal,
Yeah.
which I enjoyed that thoroughly.
We
Yeah,
do the Thomas Crooks muffins,
like the English muffins.
like the English
Yeah,
muffins, and we put them with sausage and egg, and we put them in the oven, put the tin foil on them, and then cook them up for the tailgate. Very, very nice. But we've hash brown casserole too
Yeah, okay.
that we make
Yeah,
up
like
here.
the
That's pretty good. Yep.
It just, it depends on the setting too, because like if if you're at a family friendly tailgate, like you
Mhm.
might have some chairs around, and then you can sit there with a nice plate, right?
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? But I like, I'm a walk around guy. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So I like to have, and then the catastrophic thing is, the worst thing you could have is you eat your plate and then you can't find anywhere to put the plate. So you're just walking around.
So you're
and
just
you got
walking with the empty plate.
you got
Yes.
a plate in your hand. I hate that. So that's where you go finger food.
That's what I love about the taco, the biscuit, like the breakfast sandwich. I think it all works.
Breakfast taco is solid too. And
Mhm.
we had those in San Marcos. I can't remember the name of the place, but we had breakfast tacos, and they were big time.
Yeah. What about a tailgate game?
He can't go wrong with cornhole.
Yeah, that's
All right.
It's a consensus.
that's the
Yeah.
consensus,
Yeah, like I'm not a big the ladder one that people play. I'm not big on that. I don't even know what else people play. There's one where you put a cup or a bottle on a stick and throw a frisbee at it. And I don't know what
Oh,
that's
yeah.
called.
We've got washers.
What is that?
Oh,
Throwing
yeah,
it's like a whole. It's similar to horseshoes, but you throw like a literal washer
like
in the hole.
washers in the
Okay.
holes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you got to
Never played it. Well, people, you don't want what you don't want to do is like some of the kids will play spike ball. You don't want
Yeah,
to get too
no.
active.
Yeah.
You
nah,
gotta.
you
This is. I can stand here. I only need
Mhm.
one hand for this.
Yep. And then what was the other one? Oh, of course, West Virginia, and then also at Penn State, Stump. Do you know Stump?
I don't know. Stop.
You
Oh,
it's a tree stump. You got a nail, and you have to like catch a hammer and hit the nail. I think it's bigger up north.
Terrible
it's bigger
idea.
up there. Matt,
Well, yeah,
I'm
I
gonna-
guess.
when I was living in West Virginia, I helped transport a literal tree, like a literal tree trunk, into a pickup for the morning. So when we went to tailgate, we had Stump to play.
Mm,
And then I'd go to like the hardware store and get like 100 nails for like, $4. And
that
then
sounds awfully dangerous.
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't have fun without a little risk, right?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh,
All right.
Gee.
Now we're moving on to the Matt. We're gonna put you on the aux. What are you playing at the tailgate? You can give us multiple songs here.
Dude, you guys, this has changed drastically in my old age. Like, if you would have came to me 10 years ago, like this would have been the most trappiest, like inappropriate, like cocaine dealing rap music. Now I have children, so like we're probably gonna just throw on like a rock country mix. Now, my playlist, like if I don't have other, the key is if I'm on the aux, like I'm worried about others.
You got to know your audience.
Yeah.
Right. And so that would depend too, like, what kind of tailgate I'm at. Like my playlist, like it might go from one of those trap rap to it might go to some freaking Morgan Wallen. It might go to some Pitbull, and then it might go to like a worship song. So my playlist is all over the place, but depending where I'm at, like I got a couple playlists titled, and I would keep it safe probably.
There you go.
So you're all around. Just you don't know what you're getting.
Yeah, dude. And I didn't used to be that way. You used to know, like, if I was on the sticks, like you put your kids somewhere else because it was going to be
We
very
got some young Dolph coming over there.
yeah. And we were talking about killing and dealing and all the things. But no, I mean, I'd probably play it safe with like some kind of country, pop country like these kids listen to now.
Yeah. Well,
you know my thoughts on that, Jake.
I know. My
fan,
thoughts as well. We're not.
Hey,
I'm a
I
big
don't like it
Turnpike
either.
Troubadours country.
Yeah.
Like that. That's my realm of country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see, and what's happened to me is like now when I play music, I'm literally thinking about like, okay, if my kid starts singing this, like what's going to happen?
Yeah.
And then they request stuff. So then I'm like, this is kind of catchy. and then I start liking it. That's what's happened to me.
There you go.
Oh.
I have heard your algorithm changes when you have kids when it comes to the music.
Yeah. Everything. Well, yeah. And you gotta do some serious effort to change your algorithm. I don't know if you've ever had to like try to clean up your algorithm. You really gotta work at it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh man. Matt, tell everybody where they can find you online.
We have not changed the name. We will not change the name until we are settled, because this is probably going to be the group of 8 at some point. All the social media platforms at Group of 5 Guys, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the platforms. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, live for about an hour.
Very nice. And yourself. Plug yourself.
Sprouse. Well, Sprouse _68 on all the socials. That's where you can find me. But I do. You tweet at Group of 5 Guys if you want to tweet. That's where we're at.
Heard.
Yeah. Jay, let's land the plane.
All right. As always, we appreciate each and every one of you who take the time to listen to the Get Back Coach. Make sure you give Matt Sprouse, Group of 5 Guys, a follow. We appreciate you jumping on the show, Matt. It means a lot to us. It's been fun all these years getting back together and doing it. I feel like it's like we said to start this thing off, time flies.
It absolutely flies, and it's great because I know you guys tell me 1 hour show and then I get going, and here we are 2 hours later, still rolling, and I'm fired up. But man, I appreciate y'all. This is it. Like, like I don't love that we only talk like once a year, but I also love it because when we do, that means it's time. You know what I'm saying?
We know the season's right around the corner.
When I get the text, hey, you coming on? I'm like, oh, hell yeah, we're here. So I appreciate y'all, man.
Man, I love it.
I appreciate you. Yep.
All right, folks. Do all the things that help us grow as a podcast, like, subscribe, share. Word of mouth still works. We appreciate each and every one of you who takes the time to listen. Jake, close us out.
Hey, from all of us at the Get Back Coach, check out our YouTube channel. That is very new. And have a good week.